Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video, doing European Outlook for today's second video. So, as also on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather for next week, 10 days in detail across Europe. And I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Going to be one of the more interesting European outlooks that we've done for a little while, I think. So sit back, relax, enjoy. And there's a lot of very interesting charts to show you in a moment. Just to say, the first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. Got a little bonus video coming up at midday, which is going to be looking at the GWV seasonal model. So this is ahead, of course, of the third and final Winter 2023-24 seasonal roundup. That's going to be released on Saturday morning at 10 AM, but we've taken out a JMA, and we're going to have a look at that at midday. After that, we'll have a 10 to 14 day, and then we should have the night Christmas update for seeing. But events, dear boy, events are overtaking us. So I think what we're going to do tonight actually is relatively unusual and quite rare and uncommon 12Z model roundup. So I think we'll get all of the 12Z models together in a very quick video, less than 10 minutes probably, and see what they are all showing in terms of potential cold, wintry, and maybe even snowy weather next week. Yes, you heard that right. So, lots going on the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe if you search to do that. And just to say that the night Christmas update is going to be released on Sunday. So, I've got lots and lots coming up over the next 2 or 3 days. I'm going to be absolutely snowed under. And that's not a pun, but I am going to be snowed under over the next 2 or 3 days with long range, short range, all sorts going on. So the next Christmas update will be on Sunday after Sunday's live stream at 7 PM. Right, okay, let's do this then. Let's start off situation across Europe today. Oh, we've got low pressure sitting across northern parts of Europe there. Big area of low, already cold air digging in with that area of low pressure. At the same time, a ridge of high pressure is building up through the Atlantic as well. The upper air temperature is looking generally mild across much of western, southwest Europe, but colder air, as I say, it's starting to dig in across the far north of Europe. That is a sign of things to come, but generally most parts of Europe still relatively mild air. Notice cold air just beginning to trickle in central parts of Scotland. Precipitation-wise, got a cold front coming southwards through Ireland and the UK today. That extends into Denmark, northern Germany, and into Poland as well, bringing outbreaks of rain. And then behind that, it turns significantly colder. Only precipitation here across Scandinavia and northeast Europe, including the Baltic Sea states of Finland, Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, will be falling as snow. But a lot of dry weather from Spain, Portugal, all the way up to the southern parts of Ukraine and the Black Sea. As we come down into Medbo, we run into these heavy showers. So thunderstorms through North Africa, into the central portion of the bed, into some parts of Italy, and some showers extending over towards Greece as well. Temperatures today look like that, so bitterly cold across the far north of Europe and into the west of Russia as well. Winter really started to bite there, just started to trickle in towards the far eastern countries as well, like Ukraine, eastern parts of Belarus, definitely, and into those Baltic Sea states as well. Out west, so it's a lot milder, and across much of southern Europe, the temperature remains relatively mild. Well, tomorrow, Friday, we'll see the low pressure deepening over Scandinavia and northerly winds begin to push southwards across western parts of Europe as the ridge of high pressure begins to move out into the Atlantic. The upper air temperatures look cold tomorrow across many parts of Europe. The minus 5 Celsius iceberg has pushed southwards through the Low Countries, through Germany, through Poland, into northern parts of Ukraine as well. And then we go northwards into the Scandinavian, the Nordic regions, and there it's bitterly cold, especially through Sweden, through Finland, northwestern parts of Russia with about minus 10 and minus 15 Celsius isotherms. At the same time, still relatively mild or warm, which is southern, southwest Europe. If you don't like the cold, then go south, go to Spain, go to the bed, looking reasonably mild through there. Precipitation is looking like that, so the cold front, bringing that band of rain, will be through southern parts of Germany, into eastern France, and into in some of the southeastern countries actually, so like Hungary, Austria, and then going southwards in towards Romania and the Balkans as well. Around the Adriatic, you see showers kicking off through there. Those showers likely through the central portion of the Med, but they look relatively well scattered. Most areas of them dry, and then further northward as the cold air digs in, have wintry showers, snow showers coming southwards through Scandinavia, the Nordic regions. Also, those wintry showers will start to make their presence felt through the Low Countries into Germany and into parts of Poland as well. Again, bitterly cold across much of northern Europe tomorrow and into the far northeast too, and generally cold across most areas as go down into the Med and central southern parts of Spain, Portugal, over to Greece and Turkey. To find anything that is particularly warm tomorrow. That's Sunday, Saturday I should say, so most of Europe stuck under a trough of low pressure within pretty cold air. Notice those northerly winds are extending down through the Balkans, in towards Italy, for example, an area of low pressure. Bringing those northerly winds developing around Greece as well. Western Europe under a ridge of high pressure, under an area of high pressure through there. The upper air temperatures looking generally cold across most parts of Europe, particularly so in the north and in the northeast again. Warm, trying to cling on, trying to hang on across central and southern parts of Spain and Portugal, but even into the Med, we see a significant cooling trend. And that area of low pressure will bring lots of heavy rain and thunderstorms through Greece and Turkey. And that pushes further northwards of the cold air from the north undercuts. We could see some significant snow starting to develop through countries such as Romania, for example, and possibly parts of the Balkans as well. Heavy showers and thunderstorms into some parts of Italy and North Africa. And then behind that, got wintry showers through Germany and into Poland as well. Snow showers into the Nordic regions and mostly dry for much of Western Europe, but it will be cold, and the coldest temperatures there will be through Scandinavia and Nordic regions, so through Norway and Sweden and Finland as well. Western parts of Russia extending down into Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania and Belarus. Bitterly cold through there, and bitterly cold begin to trickle into parts of Germany as well. Sub-zero temperature, Poland I should say, as well. Sub-zero temperatures through there. Much colder over the Alps as well. Significant snow falling through the Alps and down into the Balkans. Looking very cold through there. Even western parts of Europe looking pretty chilly on Saturday. Sunday also like bringing an area of low pressure in from off the Atlantic in towards Ireland and the UK. As the cold air just begins to retreat perhaps a little bit further eastwards again. So that's how the upper air temperature look on Sunday. So turn less cold across some of these western parts of Europe, especially through Ireland and into Britain as well. Also parts of western France, perhaps seeing slightly milder air coming in. Still relatively warm to Spain and Portugal, but you don't have to go very far north and east to find that bitterly cold air, especially again in that northeastern corner. That's where the coldest of the upper air temperatures are lurking on Sunday. Outbreaks of rain, most of it light, but some heavy bursts could be mixed in, coming through Ireland and the UK, just affecting the far northwest of France. Otherwise, France, Spain, Portugal looking mostly dry again. Wintry showers likely through Germany. And further north about, any precipitation will be falling as snow. There's not much about, but there will be sort of snow throws, especially around the Baltic Sea. And that heavy rain with snow on the northern edge will be pushing northwards through the Black Sea and heading up in towards Ukraine as well. Could be some significant snow through parts of Ukraine. As things begin to turn drier across southern parts of Europe. Again, looking very cold, bitterly cold across much of northern and also eastern portions of Europe. Just a little bit less cold out in the far west Europe, but still a little bit chilling through there. That area of low pressure then starts to move southwards into France, go through into Monday as high pressure begins to strengthen over Scandinavia. That is a classic Scandinavian high. Notice this area of low pressure underneath it around the Ukraine and Belarus into western Russia. That will bring very significant amounts of snow potentially through eastern and northeastern parts of Europe through the early part of next week. Upper air temperatures are becoming colder across much of Northern Europe, Scandinavia, and the Nordic regions. Again, looking bitterly cold, that bitterly cold air extending in towards the east of Europe as well. Again, particularly through Ukraine, Belarus, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, all those areas, and Finland, all those areas looking very, very cold indeed. At the same time, Western Europe just a little bit less cold, I wouldn't necessarily say milder, but a little bit less cold through Western Europe with the area of low pressure there. So, precipitation-wise, significant snow across portions of Ukraine and into Belarus and into eastern parts of the Baltic Sea states extending into Western Russia as well. Further snow flurries through other parts of Scandinavia and Nordic regions. Outbreaks of rain pushing inwards through the UK into France and into the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, and into Western Germany as well. So that might turn wintry on the leading edge as it bumps into the cold air. Spain, Portugal, mostly dry. Heavy showers of thunderstorms through the central bowl of the Med, and snow likely through parts of the Balkans as well. Temperature-wise, it looks bitterly cold once more across much of central, northern, and eastern Europe. It's just in the far south, particularly the southwest and up west side Europe, we have slightly less cold air. That's a setup for Tuesday, so at that point, low pressure is drifting both southwards and eastwards, allowing that high pressure over Scandinavia to push its bitterly cold easterly wind further westwards into central and possibly even western parts of Europe. Notice the cold pull from -10 Celsius iceberg is gradually drifting eastwards into Germany, into the Low Countries, through Denmark, up into Norway as well. Bitterly cold over on the eastern side of Europe also. -5 Celsius iceberg is back into northern France, Low Countries, and Ireland as well. Southern Europe looking relatively mild with those upper air temperatures. Precipitation for Tuesday, so heavy snow here across much of northern and northeast Europe again, especially extending up through parts of Poland and into the Baltic Sea states as well, and moving in towards eastern parts of Sweden too. We've got showers possibly turning wintry through parts of the UK, Ireland, to the Low Countries of France, and we've got all this heavy rain with wet weather down here in the southeast of Europe. That's a mix of heavy rain and possibly snow in some areas as well. Again, we see that most parts of Europe are looking very cold on Tuesday, bitterly cold for northern and also eastern and northeast Europe, and that cold air is pushing westwards on those easterly winds. That's the setup for Wednesday. Again, we've got high pressure dominating across the far north Europe, a big blocking feature setting up there between Greenland and Svalbard as low pressure trough of low within that cold air sits underneath it. Low pressure is trying to come in from off the Atlantic as well on Wednesday. The upper air temperature is generally looking cold across most parts of Europe. The coldest of the air again is in the north and the northeastern portion of Europe. Relatively mild air still down across southern Europe. Precipitation looks like that, so further snow to come, something quite significant through northern parts of Europe, and that snow pushing into parts of Western Europe as well, including Germany and in some parts of the Low Countries too. We go further southwards, we find heavy showers and thunderstorms through Italy, that wet weather extending into Greece and Turkey as well. More wet weather begins heading towards the far southwest of the UK and Ireland perhaps, and into the Bay of Biscay as well. And the temperatures, well, they're looking bitterly cold once more across most parts of Central, Northern and East Europe. Sub-zero temperatures day and night, and still pretty cold out in the west of Europe as well. That takes us through to Thursday, where low pressure begins to try and ease up from the southwest. But look how the block is taking over through Greenland and back towards Scandinavia as well. That is a large blocking area of high pressure that we're seeing there through the second half of next week. Excuse me, the upper air temperatures look bitterly cold across most parts of Europe, with a big area of -10 Celsius iceberg right way from Denmark and Norway all the way over toward the Ukraine and western parts of Russia, actually. The UK still looking quite cold as well. Milder air trying to push northwards through France, Spain and Portugal. Wet weather is moving in from the Atlantic into West Europe as that comes into the cold air. All sorts of fun and games are possible with that on the leading edge, so some of that wet weather could start to turn to snow. Further northwards and eastwards, there's no doubt about it, there will be snow falling across northern and eastern parts of Europe there. Heavy rain in the southeast corner, mostly dry to the central bowl of the bed, and many parts of Europe look really cold again on Thursday. Anywhere from Germany eastwards is basically staying below freezing all day, and even quite cold into the west of Europe too. I'll just run you on to day 10. So that low does not make it as it moves in towards France, Ireland and the UK. So that low gradually starts sinking away to the south, as the blocking area of high pressures continue to dominate to the north. Winds remain in from an easterly direction all the way up to Sunday the 3rd of December. Upper air temperature continues to look cold through much of northern and west Europe. We begin to lose about -10 Celsius where the area of cold air shrinks a little bit. But overall, still looking cold or very cold there through much of northern and west Europe. The mildest temperatures in the south and in the southeastern corner of Europe by the weekend of the 2nd to the 3rd of December with those southwesterly winds. An interesting European outlook, to say the least. It looks like many parts of Europe are going to be plunged into an early winter freeze through the course of next week. If you enjoyed this broadcast, please like, share and subscribe. We're going to be back shortly looking at the JMA Season 1 for the winter of 2023-24. We've got 10 to 14 there with all of the break features coming later on this afternoon. And then we'll have a 12 there bottle roundup between 7 and half 7 this evening. For this week's European Outlook, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.